Prologue: The Arrogance of the Firstborn. The Zaith were old when stars still learned how to burn. Their archives stretched across billions of years, etched into planets hollowed into living libraries. They were not simply the galaxy's oldest species. They were its custodians, its arbiters, the living memory of the cosmos. And yet, even they could falter. It began with an attack that seemed trivial to them. A single human colony perched on the outer rim, rich in ore and strategically unimportant, was targeted not for conquest but for demonstration. The Zaith, ancient, aloof, and prideful, believed humanity's growth had gone unchecked. Too loud, their envoys had sneered. Too fast, too reckless. Their dreadnought descended upon the colony like a storm of knives. Cities burned. Families were vaporized beneath searing beams. The Zaith did not conquer, they erased. And when the screams had silenced, their commander broadcast a message across the stars. Earth is young, it will learn or it will perish. Chapter I: The Mockery of Immortals. The galaxy listened. Some species laughed, others cheered. The Zaith had reminded humanity of its place. In council halls across the stars, ambassadors nodded gravely, speaking of balance, of humility. Humans are children, the Zaith declared. Children must be corrected. They held banquets to celebrate the destruction of the colony. Toasts were made, songs composed. Even younger empires joined in mocking Earth, convinced the Zaith had done what none dared before: slap the hand of the upstart predator species and suffer no retaliation. They remembered humanity's bold wars, the fleets that bled pirate kings, the iron soldiers that held against swarms. But against the Zaith, against the firstborn, they claimed Earth would not dare lift a finger. The mockery spread like wildfire. The predators of Saul, they laughed, now know fear. Chapter II: The Silence That Trembled. But the humans did not reply, not at once. No declarations of war, no threats, no angry broadcasts across the stars. Just silence. At first it was taken as weakness. The Zaith smiled, convinced their lesson had been carved into human bone. The councils repeated the tale: Earth has learned restraint. The predators are humbled. But the silence was not peace. It was a storm holding its breath. Signals ceased from Saul's borders, trade ships vanished. Human embassies closed their doors. The Terran networks went dark, sealed behind encrypted walls no outsider could breach. Even their allies, those who had once celebrated side by side, found no answers. It was then the first whispers began. Why so quiet? Some asked. Why so calm? And then the silence broke. Chapter III: The Awakening of the Forge. It began with one message. A transmission not sent to the galaxy, but to the Zaith themselves. The voice was human, calm, cold, and without hesitation. You have taken one colony. That is one too many. Earth remembers, and Earth responds. Then came the fleets. From the dark between stars emerged ships the galaxy had never catalogued. Dreadnoughts the size of continents, carriers that birthed storms of fighters like swarms of hornets, engines that burned with a fury brighter than suns. Their hulls bore no ornament, no banners, no warnings, only matte steel and silence. The Zaith, who believed themselves eternal, watched as human armadas filled the void like shadows made of fire. And then the warnings echoed across open comms, repeated in every tongue of the stars. This is not war, this is correction. Chapter IV: The Storm That Devoured Suns. The retaliation was not measured, it was not proportional, it was annihilation. The first Zaith fleet, assembled to discipline the humans further, never returned. They vanished into the void, erased in less than an hour. The second encountered something worse. Human weapons tore through shields once thought eternal. Gravity lances bent space itself, splitting warships like glass. Planetary fortresses, ancient and proud, fell in hours as orbital bombardments rained fire that turned oceans to steam and mountains to rivers of stone. The galaxy watched as the impossible unfolded. Humanity, young and reckless, wielded destruction with precision that made even seasoned predators tremble. Where Zaith fleets moved in centuries, humans struck in minutes. Where Zaith councils debated for decades, humans acted in silence and certainty. It was not simply vengeance. It was a declaration. Humanity had grown in the shadows, preparing not for survival but for supremacy. And in that hour, the galaxy learned the truth. Humans did not retaliate as equals. They retaliated as executioners. Chapter V. The Shattering of Legends. The Zaith screamed of betrayal. They had been firstborn, guardians untouchable. Now they were prey. For every human colony destroyed, 10 Zaith worlds burned. For every life erased, entire archives, billions of years of history were turned to ash. Their libraries, their temples, their monuments carved into planets, all fell under human fire. The galaxy pleaded for mercy. Councils sent envoys, begging Earth to stop, to forgive, to remember restraint. But humans remembered only one thing: the colony burned into dust. One battle became legend across the stars. Over the crimson skies of Ilthar Prime, the Zaith's capital, their fleets massed, thousands of ships older than human civilization itself. They gathered, confident that weight of history and firepower would crush humanity's rage. And then from the dark the Terran armada arrived. Not thousands, hundreds, but each ship was larger, faster, more brutal than the Zaith had imagined possible. The battle lasted 14 minutes. When it ended, Ilthar Prime was gone, not conquered, erased. Chapter VI. The Whispers of Survivors. The war did not end. It simply stopped because there was nothing left to fight. The Zaith, once immortal in pride, shattered into fragments scattered across the stars. Survivors fled into exile, their fleets broken, their worlds smoking husks. And Earth did not celebrate. No parades, no songs, no boasting. Just silence. Terran fleets returned to orbit, engines quiet. Soldiers disembarked, faces grim. Humanity did not hunger for glory, it had exacted vengeance, and vengeance alone. Across the galaxy, whispers spread like frost. Do not provoke Earth, do not mock them, do not test their patience. The youngest races listened with trembling awe. The middle empires shifted uneasily in their seats. Even the predators, once confident in their dominion, turned their gaze from Saul and dared not look again. And the Zaith, what remained of them, refused to visit Earth, not in war, not in peace, not at all. Epilogue, the lesson carved in silence. The galaxy's oldest species still lives, scattered and broken, hiding in shadows. But none dare return to the blue planet they once mocked. For they know the truth now. Humanity does not strike first. Humanity waits. Humanity endures insult, arrogance, and cruelty with silence. But when that silence breaks, stars burn out, worlds vanish, and history itself trembles. The Zaith, firstborn and eternal, became the first to learn the final law of the galaxy. Never provoke Earth again. And so the oldest species still refuses to visit Earth, not because of pride, not because of distance, but because every survivor hears that one whisper in the dark, the whisper left by those who saw their worlds burn. Human vengeance is infinite.